Can you imagine for at least 100,000 years people had no concept of money, cash or coin as we know them today? But today it is easy to feel tired of hearing about crypto in the news. I want you to look at this. How all of this is such a recent history in a perspective of time we are dealing with money. Winston Churchill once said, "The longer you look back, the further you can look forward." So how did the world look before money even existed? For at least 100,000 years, people worldwide adapted commodities as a form of money. Non-monetary societies operated on the gift and debt principle, the standard practice between close communities, families and friends. On the other hand, strangers or even enemies used to exchange goods and services for other goods and services, the barter-like method. Only 5,000 years ago, or 3000 BC, the first known coin-like concept came from Mesopotamia, a present-day Iraq, and part of Iran, Turkey, Syria and Kuwait. Not precisely a coin though, but rather a unit of weight, shekel, relied on the mass of something like 160 grains of barley. And only around 650 and 600 BC that Lydian people from the first Persian Empire mint coins out of gold or silver, according to Herodotus in his histories. From here, we start seeing small steps taken towards monetary system. The beginning of money as we know it starts once commodities evolved into a system of representative money. In the ancient empires of Egypt, Babylon, India and China, the temples and palaces often had commodity warehouses. They issued certificates of deposit as evidence of a claim upon portion of goods stored in the warehouse. A form of representative money, or in other words, the infancy concept of banks today. Do not confuse representative money with the paper money we know today. Representative money, often printed on paper, represents assets, but has little or no value. More like literal papers of stock certificates. You know those Warren Buffett started buying at the age of 11. Actual paper money did not appear until 11th century. During the Song dynasty, European explorers like Marco Polo scouted ancient China and brought the concept of paper money to Europe during the 30th century. Fast forward, the first concept of stock market came after the Amsterdam Stock Exchange, which was established in 1600. By Dutch East India Company and dealt with printed stocks and bonds. In the late 1600s, in London, banknotes became widely accepted for convenience and security. And in early 1800s, Napoleon as well issued paper banknotes. With the removal of precious metals from the monetary system, banknotes evolved into pure fiat money. In other words, currency introduced and accepted by the government. What's important, fiat money was closely tied to gold until it wasn't. By the beginning of 20th century, almost all countries had adopted the Gold Standard, a monetary system that tied gold value to paper notes. After World War II, from 1944 to 1971, the Bretton Woods Agreement fixed the value of 35 United States dollars to the troy ounce of gold. Other currencies were calibrated with the US dollar at fixed rates, and the US promised to redeem dollars with gold transferred to other national banks. Promised. Long and behold, 1971 marked what is known as Nixon shock. Then the US government suspended the convertibility of the US dollar to gold. That marks the end of paper tied to gold and the beginning of deconstruction of how we perceive money and, in that sense, wealth itself. But that's not all. Only a decade later, after the Nixon shock, in 1983, the American cryptographer David Chaum conceived an anonymous cryptographic electronic money called eCash. After this breakthrough, for 26 years, various countries and institutions were working and publishing papers on cryptography. In 2009, the first decentralized cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, was created by presumably developer known as Satoshi Nakamoto. So what's now? As the debate heats up about cryptocurrencies, governments gear to have their own cryptocurrencies, and new regulations pop up faster than mushrooms after the rain. I hope you can agree. We can gain some perspective from looking even at this brief history of money. 2022 marks the start of Bitcoin's second decade, with many more digital currencies emerging. One thing is clear, the path forward is full of change, as it has always been. Keeping an open mind ahead and adjusting your relationship with money will benefit your mental health and wallet, if you will need one after all.